In fact, we also heard that there is a mobile hospital set up in Chennai now after the successful running of the mobile hospital here for 9 years.
That has been last September, I think, we had started the service, and it is also doing very well. Here, the mobile hospital, it's been more than 8 years, I think, now. And that really provided a model for the Chennai town. Of course, neighboring villages of the city are being looked after by this new mobile hospital program. One of the things we're thinking of is, now that we have about 8 years of experience in mobile hospital in these villages, about 50 villages are covered. We are now thinking whether we can do something for the schools which are in the same 50 villages. So from health we can sort of move to education also. There are about 15,000 students and more than 700 teachers covered by these schools, which are the institutions set up by the government of Andhra Pradesh. So to the extent that we can provide some assistance in terms of improving the quality of science education, or even of course provide value-based education, I think we would like to take it up. We have to really discuss these matters with the government of Andhra Pradesh. The government of Andhra Pradesh has also expressed its keenness to have a program called Vidyadanam by some of these well-endowed temples and charitable organizations. Of course, they know that we are providing, Swami has provided free education in schools and colleges set up by Swami. But there is a desire on the part whether organizations like ours could participate. So we will see, and we would like to do something for these 50 villages which are now covered by the mobile hospital program, so that both health and education are covered by us in these villages.
And the Nitya Annadana Pathakam also is going on, which
it is
provides
going
food
on
to
there,
these villages.
but we would like to enlarge the scope of it, and it is hoped with Swami's grace from Guru Purnima time whether we can provide for Annadanam or free food or prasadam of Swami from Guru Purnima onwards in our South Indian canteen for all the devotees. It's one of the things that is being. So that is also another initiative which the Central Trust is considering, so that we will have Swami's prasadam for lunch for all the devotees here who come as a part of their pilgrimage.
So everyone who comes has darshan and free prasadam.
That is what I think is being thought of, and I'm sure that the Swami will provide the means for that.
And as you mentioned, the institutions embody his spirit, but I remember last time you said, even though the institutions will stand for centuries, his message is eternal. And you have the coming up of the new archival building, and I tend to think that is where Swami's original message is going to be stored, and that is again a landmark initiative of the trust.
It should not merely remain a repository of Swami's discourses. We are now thinking of setting up 2 centers now that the infrastructure of a good building is available. One is Sri Satya Sai Center for studies in Swami's discourses. But then these discourses, broadly, you can classify them as relating to the areas of spirituality, culture, education, and society. Most of the discourses you will find that they cover many areas, including these, but these are main areas. So one of the things which is being thought of is to set up a Sri Satya Sai Center for studies in spirituality, culture, education, and society. The idea is to have both visiting scholars and resident scholars who can take advantage of this very rich material. Of course, currently these 1,000 discourses are being digitized. That itself is a massive program. I think the number of pictures, I think, runs into lakhs. They need to be digitized. Then we have films, 8 mm, 16 mm, and in different formats. So all that is a massive work. And we have something like 2,000 sheets, 4,000 pages of Swami's own handwriting on various subjects which need to be preserved well. And later on, of course, work has to be done to bring out some publications of that. So there is a lot of work to be done on that side also. While we really look after these institutions which have been started and run by Swami, I think there is also a great responsibility on the part of people, all devotees, to ensure that the discourses which Swami had given for more than 40 years to small groups and big groups are made use of in a way that they continue to really guide not only this generation but generations to come. Because if there is one thing that is far more precious than institutions, is his message, what he really wanted us to do, how he wanted us to grow as human beings. That is the eternal message. And if Bhagavad Gita is now read after 5,000 years, I'm sure 5,000 years from now, the discourses will also form part of our studies, because it has to be put in the long tradition of ancient Indian texts and culture. So that will be one of the major tasks of the Central Trust. The other is to set up a Sri Sathya Sai Center for Value Education and Training. As I said, we have in our 100 schools which carry the name of Sri Sathya Sai, there are about 2,000 teachers and more than 50,000 students. Now these teachers have to be trained. If you take some more responsibility for the neighborhood schools, then that also requires to be attended to. So we have a very significant training program, and we have, of course, been practicing value education in the schools, university, etc. But you need to have a center for value education where I think we can bring together the strands of value education within the organization. We have Bal Vikas program in the country, started almost 50 years back when Bhagwan sort of laid the foundation for it. And there are about 2.5 lakh students and about 2.5 lakh, I think 25,000 teachers or something. It's a very large numbers. So those gurus. And now, of course, we have to really see how far technology can be made to serve the purpose. And then we have these group 1, 2, 3 programs, etc., meant for different age groups. And then this education program for our own schools, which in some form or the other are connected with us. But also schools which want to have their teachers trained. So we need to have a very well organized training program. And I think there may also be a need arising for some seminars and workshops on value education for professionals like lawyers, doctors, engineers, or business managers in corporate sector. So those things also have to be formally framed and organized. So there'll be plenty of work in order to carry on with the great message of value education in the country, in schools, in colleges, amongst the professionals, amongst other institutions. So I think this Sri Sathya Sai Center for Value Education and Training should really play a prominent role in the years to come. So that is the hope and promise, and we want to really set up these institutions, these centers, as a part of energizing the archival center. So it will not remain as a dead buried treasure, but it will be a living treasure amongst all of us.
I mean, in some ways it makes me think that this is a turning point, in the sense that you have now so much focus on the message with the archival building coming up, and there is serious efforts to preserve Bhagwan's teachings. Now till now we were discussing about the form aspect, formless aspect and all that, but now it is a time where you have to move on in the next 10 years to focus only on the message.
Yes, I think message and mission will constitute, the living traditions of India. Swami's message and mission will form a continuing tradition of India. That's why there is hardly any subject pertaining to human life which has not been spoken, by Swami. And I think all that is required for us as not only citizens of this country, but as human beings that need to really lift us up, are already provided by him. It's only a question of having to really make it as a guiding principles of daily life. For Swami, there is nothing like spiritual secular. All life, he said, is spiritual. So if you are really going to think in terms of your existence in the wider context, so even eating, talking, walking becomes spiritual, is spiritual. So I think that message will become a very important message, I think, for not only devotees but the people at large. So we have to engage a large number of intellectuals and part of intelligentsia in this country, who are all very keen to bring this country to higher standards of living and life. We'll find, I think, in these discourses and in these whatever publications that come out of it by scholars, resident scholars or visiting scholars, I think would certainly provide a great opportunity for them. Let us hope that these new centers also will be greatly instrumental in spreading the message of Swami.